Hey, nice to meet you. I'm Miguel, and if you're watching this, you're watching one of the first videos of this channel. And so I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means a lot. And in this video, what I want to do is reintroduce myself and answer 4 main questions around this channel, why I'm making this channel, what I hope to get out of it, what I hope you get out of it, which is more important. And after that, I want to but I want to share 3 lessons that I've learned in the past 9 years of working in the cybersecurity space. So stick around, I think they'll be useful for you. So again, my name is Miguel. I'm a cybersecurity engineer, consultant, and now I run my own cybersecurity firm called healthtech Security. So the first question that I want to answer is, why am I making content right now? So I have 2 main reasons why I'm making content right now. The first one is that I'm going through this crazy journey of growing my own firm, my cybersecurity business. And I see this as a way to put ourselves out there, to put myself out there, to show you what we stand for, what we believe in, what our mission is, and how we can help. The second one is that I have a personal legacy to create free educational content around business security, application security. So I've always been the person that loves sharing with coworkers, with colleagues, with my friends, the things that I've learned over the past years. And so I see this as a big way for me to give back, to share these lessons, to share these stories in a way that they're tactical, they're useful for you. Now, I know that in the cybersecurity space, there's a lot of content around personal career growth, promotional things for companies, for different services and products. And so I see that there's a gap on tactical business security content out there that focuses on the security engineering side, application security. And so that is the area that I have expertise that I want to share. And I see that there's a gap currently. So by doing this, I hope that it adds to the industry so that cybersecurity content is not just how do you get into cybersecurity, what certifications you need to take, which there's a lot of that already. And I don't want to go that route. Although I can share my personal story on how I got into cybersecurity. But really, what I really want to get down to is, talking about, software development life cycles, talking about SecOps, talking about risk assessments, talking about pen testing, the different types of vulnerabilities. And so I think that's an exciting topic for me. I think that's an exciting topic that I have experience in, that I have expertise, and that I can share with you, right? And my goal, again, is so that it helps others, that it helps you, and to create a trust relationship with you, right? Because again, it goes back to my first purpose, is that I'm promoting myself and my business as well. The second question is, why am I building a personal brand right now? Really, I believe that having a personal brand is one of the biggest assets that any business owner can have 2026 and beyond, right? With the rise of AI and how dominant it is with text-based image creation, video generation, I really think that the last frontier is the humanity that we have, the connection that we have with each other. And so having a personal brand is a way to connect with your audience, connect with potential customers. Again, that goes back to one of my first reasons of starting this channel is to promote our business and really stand out from content that is AI generated. And so having a personal brand is that way to create that trust, to create a relationship with you, that you can see what the other person knows, and if the lessons that they've learned, their intelligence, their experience is something that can help you in your business, or that can help you in your operations, in your application, in your development. And I think that's an important thing that I stand by. Another reason for making my personal brand is that there's other ways that I can grow my business. There's other channels that I can pursue in terms of advertising our business. There's social media ads, there's cold calling, you name it. The reality is that I've never been that type of person that likes to solicit people, call them up and just randomly say, hey, work with me, without having a relationship, without you knowing what I can help, how I can help, and if I really know my stuff. So I see personal brand as a great way to show and not tell, right? And so in this channel, that's kind of what I want to do. I want to show you what our team can do and how we can help with cybersecurity, specifically in the application side, in the network pen testing side, auditing and things like that. really is just creating a connection with you is an important part of building a personal brand, right? Because my main goal is to grow my business and to help others. I know that either one of those, if I help you, I can achieve those goals. Even more in the cybersecurity space, being able to trust somebody, my experience, makes the total difference, right? There is a lot of security companies out there that promise so much and deliver very little. And so I don't want to be that type of company. I want to be the type of company that our team is proud in the value and how we help our people and what we stand for. And so I don't want to cut any corners. I want to be real with you. Security is a hard thing to do. And that's why me coming out here in the camera and showing my expertise is a way for me to show you and not tell you how cybersecurity can be done in a very efficient way that works with you, that works with your business, that supports your business operations. So the purpose behind all of this, again, is to create trust with potential customers for me, for my company, and be able to have this legacy behind, this personal legacy behind of free educational content that can help you, that can serve your team, and that's it. That's my whole purpose of this channel. So if I'm not being useful, then I likely won't create it. And if it's something that's just kind of, I don't know, popular or viral type of content, I likely won't go that route because it doesn't feel like me. Cybersecurity is very boring, but I love talking about it. I can chat so much about it, very detailed into very technical things, but also more principle based. And so I think that can be useful for different audiences in our customer base. And also if you're learning cybersecurity or you're part of a development team and you have no security person, then this is going to be useful, right? To see how security engineers think, how we go about solving the problems that the business sets us, right? The challenges that they're put in front of us. So really, that is the purpose of this channel. The last question that I want to answer is why now? And for the past 2 years, since I started Huntrix back in 2023, it's about to be 3 years, I knew that this was something that I needed to do, right? I needed to put myself out there, to put our company out there. We're a young company. We don't have all of the resources, but we're really proud of the team that we have and what we bring to the table. And so I was afraid for the past 2 years. I kept making excuses like, oh, I'm going to sound stupid, or, setting the time to really talk to the camera, talk to you right now was a challenge. And the best time for me to have started this was 2 years ago. And the second best time is now. So this is my goal, to challenge myself, to put myself in front of this camera and to tell you what I know. That's it. There is no more excuses. I think this is one of the most important things that I can do as a business owner, that I can do to help you, that I can do to achieve my goal of building my business and also growing this legacy of free educational content and helping people, right? And I know the majority of people that will watch my content, if it's 10 people, I'm happy. If it's 20, I'm happy. If it's 1%, I'm happy. But really, I know that the majority of people that will watch these videos will never work with our team, will never work with me personally, and that is okay. I'm not here to sell you on working with us. I do want to, create a relationship, and if you do need help, reach out. And if it's a fit, let's work together. But if it's not a fit, then it's okay. I still want to create really cool content. I still want to create free resources like I have already through our firm, to help other people that are challenged by cybersecurity. That there is a lot of information, like I said earlier, on different ways that you can go about doing cybersecurity. You can focus on the compliance side and just do checkbox type security, or you can do security that's focused on the risks of the business. You can do security that's based on zero trust, so many different ways. And so with so many conflicting information, or so many information out there, which is the best way? So I'm here as a not living proof, but more as a way to synthesize my personal beliefs and share why I believe that security should be done that a specific way. You are free to take it with a grain of salt. You might be smarter than me if you're a cybersecurity practitioner, but really, I'm here to add to the industry, to challenge the industry, to challenge myself, most importantly, because whatever happens in the industry, I could care less. I really just want to make sure that I'm doing this with passion. I'm doing this out of excitement, the things that I like sharing, and I'm being useful and valuable, right? So those are the main things on why now, why a personal brand, why content in this channel. So the topics that I will be covering in this channel would likely fall in somewhere in those categories around business cybersecurity, software development, secure coding practices, vulnerabilities that I just find interesting and intriguing, that are very common, very impactful, right? Because just because a vulnerability is cool doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be covered. I think that there's key areas in businesses that have more impact than others. And so we need to understand how vulnerabilities affect the business at the end of the day. How does this affect downtime? How does this affect the revenue? And those are the main questions in the way that I believe cybersecurity should be done. So I'll share it through that lens, and feel free to follow on this journey. Now, with that out of the way, I have 3 quick lessons that I've learned over the past 9 years as a consultant, as a founder, as an operator of a cybersecurity firm, consultant. And really the first one is that cybersecurity is done wrong, right? In many places. And I'm not going, at you, or I'm not going towards anybody, but I've seen it. I've done it myself in teams. Just the culture of the cybersecurity team sometimes has been that security is a reactive kind of thing, or it's the cybersecurity team is there to kind of protect everything, but there's this kind of like big brother's watching type of vibe sometimes. But I've been in teams that visibility into everything, control over everything has been kind of the main priority, rather than helping the business. So that's where what I believe cybersecurity should be. Cybersecurity, in my opinion, should be optimized to help the business achieve its goals while reducing the most amount of risk. Now, I say the most amount of risk because the only way, the way to be certain that there is no risk in any business is to not use technology at all, right? If you do not want to get hacked, don't use technology. But that's a flawed way to see. It's not realistic to how business works, right? We need to have technology to enable. We need to have technology to enable things to happen, to be efficient. And so we understand that there's uncertainty around technology. There's going to be always, but the focus of cybersecurity is to serve the business while reducing the biggest risks first. So that's where I differentiate myself than other people. Is cybersecurity, let's focus on what are the biggest risks first. And when I say biggest risks first, I'm not saying like what are the highs and criticals. No, I'm saying what are the things that can realistically hurt the business. An outage, a breach, a ransomware attack, whatever that might be. So those will translate into dollars, right? You can translate downtime into how many sales were lost, or how many customers were impacted, what the cost of this of support looks like, what the cost of remediation looks like. And so when we start to see this cost, we start to see it in the way that business talks. The language of business is money. And so when we're able to translate risk into money, that's when we can start to see where the areas that have the highest concentration of risk and money, and then tackle those areas, right? Focus on those areas, on protecting those areas, rather than focusing on whether Johnny from finance is using an extension in his browser that we don't know about. And it's a risk, it's a bad thing to have. But what do we do when we have a limited amount of resources, people, money, and time? And where do we put those resources in the cybersecurity department or the security function to help the business the most, right? That's my definition. How do we help the business achieve its goals? By reducing the biggest amount of risk. And there's going to be risks that are going to be disproportionate in terms of how much impact they introduce to the business. So there's going to be a small section of risk. They're going to be responsible for the majority of the business risk. And I'll kind of explain that later on, because me just saying it kind of means nothing. But once you see really with data what that really means in reality, right, in the real world, not every vulnerability, not every risk is exploited, and not every risk is kind of valid in terms of how you operate, how you build your application, how you're building your business. And so that's one important lesson that I've learned, is to differentiate between the focus on compliance, the focus on protecting everything, seeing everything, slowing everything down so that you get a chance to check everything over, which never happens because there's a million things happening in a business every single day, and security does not have the resources, the people, the time to get all of that done. So there has to be a better way to protect the business in the way that matters, which is the money. How do we protect our customers? How do we increase the quality? How do we reduce the likelihood that a bad event happens, the resiliency of the things that we're building? And that is the focus that I believe cybersecurity should be in. And as you can tell, I can talk a lot about this topic, very passionate, but that's one of the biggest lessons, really. If you take anything away from this video, is ask yourself whether your team, whether the way that you develop your application has a focus on reactive security or proactive security, by where are the biggest things that could hurt us? Or what are the conditions that would enable a data breach to occur? What are the conditions that would enable an outage to occur? Are we resilient enough? And focus on those areas for the critical things in your business, like your main application, your core product, your core features, whatever that might be, right? Focus there. The second lesson that I want to share with you today is around compliance, right? Because a lot of times compliance is kind of in the same air when we talk about cybersecurity, and it's very important. And I'm not saying that compliance is not important. Every business should have as part of their security program, but it shouldn't drive the security program. Unfortunately, in business and security, a lot of businesses see compliance as their pay-to-play type of game. So in order for them to win an opportunity, to advance a sales motion, through to go through procurement and get that done, is to have a compliance framework, some sort of certification or attestation that says, hey, we're complying with this framework, we're following best practices. However, what I see is that when you focus on compliance and those frameworks as the way to develop your security program, you're not focusing on your business. You're focusing on principles that are made by other organizations that are not thinking about your specific business context. And I think that's the biggest problem that I see. But still, right? A lot of companies just go that route, and they may pay software to help with compliance, to help automate some stuff. But in reality, there is a lot of things that are just kind of swept under the rug. But because there is a stamp, there's a compliance stamp in the product, people don't care to look twice. And that's why we see companies that have compliance across different regulations or certification bodies or organizations still get breached. It's because there's a wrong focus here on cybersecurity. It's a big issue in the industry, right? Basically, the way that I would describe it is, you're doing cybersecurity is just kind of this checkbox thing, and once you're done, you kind of don't have to worry about it. But in reality, cybersecurity is a big risk to the business, and it's going to become more and more relevant. So why is this useful to you? Knowing whether you are just a checkbox type of company, or you're building your product just thinking of like, hey, can we get through this compliance framework? That gives you a signal that there is probably something wrong that can happen in your product. There's and I don't know your specific business context, but if that is the case, if checkbox is the way that you build, I just know that the foundations are not there. I just have that feeling. I've seen it many times across companies that have compliance. The foundations of how to build correctly, how to build software securely, they're just not there. Third lesson is that design in product is one of the most important things. I believe that good design is good security. So when we focus on quality in product, we are also focusing on cybersecurity. Quality is a big determinator in success for a product and for a business. The quality of it will determine how long you're in the game. And I believe that if your business and your goal is to be in the market, make a lot of money, make a lot of make a lot of money, bring a lot of value into the market, then the focus on quality is going to be the most important thing for your team. Now, the business needs to move fast. It needs to make directional changes really fast. That's a different thing. But when you're building, you don't want to build fast. That's where you end up with a product that is kind of like duct taped all around. And at the end of the day, 2 years, 3 years, 5 years pass and the software is just garbage. It never really had the foundations for it to be a resilient program. So people leave, developers change jobs, engineers, DevOps, whatever that might be, part of the team. And so knowledge leaves. And so now you end up with these legacy components or legacy systems that nobody can touch. Nobody knows if it goes down, if the whole application will go down. And so that's not the place that you want to be in a software company, right? In a product company. Good design is going to trump anything, in my opinion. And so when we focus on good design, when we focus on the quality of the software, security is part of that. Security is part of a resiliency program. It's part of a good design program. So those are the three main things that I want to share with you in this first video. They're by no means they're the most important things that I want to talk about, but they're very top of mind. So with that being said, I think that's it for today. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope that it was useful. It's my first video, so I'm gonna get better at explaining some of the things that I mean. My first video here talking to the camera, and by no means I'm a professional content creator, so be patient with me. I have lots of really cool stuff to share with you. So thank you again and see you in the next one.